When the clock told you my past, but you guys always you throw me away like a piece of trash. What you're looking at is the broken glass that was once shattered. Yet have beautiful patterns that needed for eternity. But the pain that I was feeling suppressed in me, which became my enemy. I defeated my fears. I continue to be because it was all about me. Let me to do things so unholy, but the pleasure was worth my spirit and soul. It's in, no, not me. That's who you see. Working through me. It's in, no, not me. That's who you see. Flowing through me. It's in, no, not me. That's who you see. Flowing through me. So don't be deceived, thinking that's about me. It's because of him that I am free. I came to a place where I had to find myself. Went too far deep, didn't realize I was drowning. So I screamed out, you should help me. And within the flash, she came and rescued me. Easy to buy and provide me. They take me, bring me to put out my feet. Deliver me in a wild thing, testimony for the whole world to see. Yeah, think of my desires and sex in this back. I'm sorry you ever left. Now your dog is back. Little pictures who are anointed and set free. I'm the crown of his asking. Yes, I'm a queen. Yeah, that's what you're looking at. Don't get too caught up in the flesh. No, because had to close some tests, but now I'm on his honorable list. Yeah, it's in, no, not me. That's who you see. Working through me.
What was y'all saying? All right. All right, Israel. Most High Christ bless your body. All right, so happy Sabbath too. All right, so all praises, Israel, to the Most High for giving us the spirit to come here and fellowship and keep His commandments and learn what His will is. Today's lesson in class is about how to please the Almighty. And we definitely, through the Spirit of the Most High, is going to go into greater detail on how to please the Most High to the point to where I'm hoping that it surprises some of us. To the point to where, okay, you get to see things differently in a way that you hadn't seen it before. In order to do that, we got to go to the book of Ezekiel, the 18th chapter. Hey, I see that notes from the last class. Yeah. All right, I guess. Right. No, I'm okay. I'll tell you what's about. So Ezekiel. Let's see. Turn around for a minute. All right, Ezekiel chapter 18. Sorry. Ezekiel 18 and 1. So, like I said, when it comes to dealing and pleasing the Most High, I think a lot of us, we on the surface, and we got to get beneath the surface. As I began to personally study this lesson, it took me by surprise to the point where I was like, this is something that I have to share, because without this level of intensity of really trying to input ourselves, it just, you ain't gonna get the same result coming back from the Most High, believe it or not. But we'll see. So start at the top, Ezekiel 18 and 1.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18, and verse 1. The word of the Lord came unto me again, saying, What mean ye that ye use this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying, The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge.
In other words, everything that glitters not gold. So when you ever seen a piece of fruit or something, and it's supposed to be sweet, supposed to be good, but what? It's not. So the fathers, when we jumped out there, when our foreparents and past, when they jumped out there and they reached for the grape, they're like, this is going to be good. But when they bit into it, it was what?
Sour.
It was bitter. It was sour. I've had fruit before. I'm a berry lover. I would prefer berries over anything else, over a piece of meat. There's just something about it. The energy that you get from it, it doesn't sink like an anchor. It's just, especially if they're good and sweet, you can eat them, consume them, energize from it, not heavy, slothful, want to lay down, you can keep moving. Well, anyway, the things that our fathers went after, they thought that it was going to be sweet like a grape. But it turned out to be bitter and sorrowful. And that's a lot of times when I tell you that you better be careful, you better watch yourself, because if you making the wrong choice, you making the wrong decision, you're going to pay for that. It's not me, the man. It's the God in me, working through me, just trying to tell you, you better check yourself, because you're going to wreck yourself. Everybody that went against the Lord, they failed. So our foreparents in time past, they went after the cares of the world, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. They went after all of these different things, thinking that it was going to be sweet. Ended up suffering and paying the consequences. So the fathers have eaten. Here it says sour grapes. Nobody can tell that the grape is sour until they bite into it. It's telling you that it was sour, though. All right. And the children's teeth are set at right? Why? Because of the situation that the parents put them in. So what you think gonna happen if you make a poor decision? What is the situation gonna end up being like for your child? It's gonna be bitter. Their teeth gonna be set at edge. They're gonna be angry. They're gonna be bitter. Keep making the wrong decision. Selfishly, thinking about you, not thinking about your child. You're just thinking about you. When you bring children into the world, goodbye life, goodbye world. What you want to do, that's it. That's a wrap. It's over. No more you. It's the child. It's the child. Now you got to start living for the child. If not, they're going to have a real tough time. Unless you're going to be a deadbeat and just give the children over to the system, or pawn them off, usher them off onto another family member, onto somebody else, which They teeth still gonna be set at edge because in their mind they're gonna be like, why my mama do me like that? Why my daddy do me like that? Why this? Why that? Because as they begin to really learn the responsibilities of a biological parent, they're gonna say like, well, my mom never took me to the park, never sat down and ate with me, never took me for pizza, never held my hand, never took me to an amusement park, never took me skating, never ran around the park with me, never did this, never did that. How many of us can say what our parents never did with us? I know I can. What they never did. So you think that a child ain't gonna desire that? They're gonna look into other people and see what family's supposed to be like. And they teeth gonna be set at edge because of you. So while you in your youth and you in your baby making stage, you better start thinking about that. So if you're not ready for that, stand up. And don't lie down, because lying down brings forth children. And if you do it weekly, the Most High gonna judge you, and He gonna send you some children to where their teeth gonna be mad at you, and they might not never forgive you. Even though they might want to get to know you, that doesn't mean that they're gonna forgive you. That they're gonna actually have the spirit to just be like, no harm, no foul. I understand your situation. I understand your circumstance. Blah blah blah. Everybody do it. Well, guess what? You being put in a situation to where you being taught not to do what everybody does. Are you going to do it anyway? Guess what? It starts with running your mouth. There are a lot of single women because they run their mouth. Yeah, because you run your mouth. You talk too much, combative, make bait, argumentative, back and forth. Especially let's say, for instance, there's a perfect situation to where somebody is trying to be at peace with you and you fighting. Yeah. You know what the Bible says, which is true, which does not lie. If you bite, how's it go? See that you be not consumed one of another. Consume meaning you have ate me up to where I can't do this no more. Now you live at, what's that? I had some address in Wisconsin, 110 North Lovers Lane, by yourself. It was a real address. I stayed at that address before, North Lovers Lane, 110. Now you're there by yourself because you consumed this person, consumed them with your wrath, with your anger. When all the way and the instructions on how not to do that is being taught day in and day out. Is the live messing up for everyone else? I'm not sure. Now, I do understand that some of you have some lions. All right. What's a lion? An angry man that don't have no rulership over his spirit. He can do the same thing. He can end up alone too. You can end up being alone too if you're a man and you're a lion in your house and you roaring and this, that, and the third. You can't be like that. Here we teach both genders how to be submissive, how to humble themselves, and what to do. We cannot do it for you. We cannot do it for you. As a man, state the scriptures and go take a chill pill. You don't follow her through the house arguing with her about what she's supposed to do. She already heard what the scripture is saying, what you're saying. Go and sit down. That's all you can do. Let the Most High get the increase. Sometimes we want to, plant, water, and make the increase come forth, leaving you agitated and a lion. You can't do that. You have to plant. Let somebody else second emotion that. Let somebody else water that seed that you planted. And don't be offended because somebody else It took somebody else to get through to them. That's a living process. It happens. 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter, tell you that. One man planted, another man watered, God give the increase. Through growth and over a period of time, the Lord is going to allow, the Most High is going to have them to grow, because they're going to hear it multiple times. Let's see. I could change that platform back out. Is it? It's the Facebook? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me end this. Okay. And let me start over. It's that one app.
Also, if anybody on the Wi-Fi disconnect.
Yeah, that will help too, brothers and sisters. Right. Shoot. All right. So hopefully that's better, right, Abanya? Leave it alone, man. It's rub my class. So you don't want to be a lion at home. You don't want to be like that. You can't make somebody do something. They got to want to do it. It's got to be in them. They got to want to do this. Everybody understand that? Brothers that's married, you got to want, she got to want to do it. And you getting mad at her and showing her, that doesn't help either. Allow her to feel a little guilty for being in the wrong by herself. You understand what I'm saying? They'll feel guilty. She'll feel guilty, like, you know what? I'm mistreating them. I'm doing something wrong. I'm saying something. I said something wrong. I'm sorry for dealing like that. But she's not gonna feel guilty if you're guilty too. You've been fighting too. You've been fussing too. You've been cussing too. She's not gonna feel guilty. She's gonna feel justified. When she feels that she have to defend herself against you, she got to protect herself. She got to protect her feelings and her emotions. F you too, because that's what you said. No, I'm gonna sing you sitting down, feeling guilty, because I ain't finna do none of that. I know how I'm supposed to act, and I don't like that you did that. But only God can do that. And I know I'd be like, Lord, what you waiting on? Lord, what you waiting on? It's when her, I've been delivered it back to you. When you gonna react? The whole time is he working on me. See, the whole time he working on me, trying to build up my strength and my resistance. Sometimes our resistance and strength, man, it ain't worth nothing, because we go 5 minutes and we be like, I tried that. You tried it for 5 minutes. You tried it for 5 minutes, and then you broke down. No, see, you gotta go longer than that. You gotta go longer than 5 minutes, brother. You gotta go throughout the duration of the time, man. And I know it's painful, but you can't be like that. All right. So we at Ezekiel chapter 18, because we'll end up alone too. Yeah, we'll end up alone too. You know, the scriptures say that if you'll have no, and I know this is why I be trying to keep, brothers. Go to Sirach. chapter 32 and 25. Thirty-six 25. 36:25. Read that.
This is Ecclesiastes Chapter 36 and 25. Where no hedge is, the possession is spoiled.
All right. See, listen, you brothers. Where no hedge is, the possession is spoiled. Now I be fighting with some brothers. Like you don't want to let the woman go. I'm telling you to build up a hedge of protection so nothing can get through to the woman. But that's hard if you bringing it in. You trying to stop spirits from getting on her, from busting through that skull and getting into her mind and telling her, I don't want to be with you. You don't want that to get into the mind of your woman, because sometimes it'll get stuck in there and it won't leave. So you got to be careful. And, for all you men that you just think I'm jamming, I'm the man. You're not jamming, man. You might think you are. Every man can think in his mind thinks he jams. You understand? That's the mental testosterone in our brain where we feel like we're a Superman, But the older you get and the more mature you get, you really understand the flesh profited nothing. It's the spirit. So it's really the way a person feel about you. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? It's really the way what? The way the person feel about you. So you have got to make yourself strong in the life of the woman. And the way that you do that is by preparing a really strong hedge, by having an understanding between you and her. And if that understanding is based upon fighting and fussing and your way and you're not reasonable or compromisable, you don't have a hedge at all. You might be jamming, but you don't have a hedge. And as soon as them spirits come in that are stronger than you spiritually, it don't have to be a righteous spirit, it can be a wicked spirit. It's going to overthrow anything that you got going on in your mind. And that's how a lot of men lose their women. And babies don't hold them down either. How you think that there are people out here with children saying, I'm single? That don't hold them down. The only thing that can hold them down is that hedge. I'm giving you the keys. So you better work on that instead of working on I'm being the man. Nah. Do we understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
There's nothing you can do to a woman. Women are bringing forth five, 6, 7, 8, 9-pound babies. And doing that. So that emotional and physical infatuation that you have, you think that you got control, you are a fool. And it only takes somebody that's mature and older than you in his experience to really tell you where to put your prize on, where to put your eye on, and what is the prize. The prize of the woman is her mind. You got to get fat, and you ain't going to get that by fighting her. That's not how to capture a woman and possess her and hold on to her. That's not how you do that, brother. So you got to build a hedge that can't nobody get through but you and her. And you're not going to get it by fighting. You get it using these scriptures and not wrongfully. Make yourself the most righteous person that she know. You got to be noble, upstanding, good. When she fails and she falls, let her fail and fall on her by herself on her own. I ain't saying leave her by herself. I'm saying don't be a participant in what she's doing. I don't want to get it twisted. Let her fail and fall alone. Meaning I'm not going to fail and fall with you. I'm not going to fight with you. I understand that you are making mistakes. I tell you what, this is what we're going to do about this. We're going to bring forth edification. It's your job to stand there and reason with her. It ain't nobody else's job. You got to be the person to reason with her. And she'll talk and reason with you. Sometimes it takes the distance. Sometimes it's a 12-round bout. Do you understand? Sometimes it takes 12 rounds, but you got to go them rounds. See, you tapping out in round 1. No, sometimes it takes 12 rounds. Like, listen, I'm trying to be reasonable with you. Say that. I'm trying to be reasonable with you. I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm this, that, but learn how to do it, tolerating. Sometimes if you might, it's every case is different. Sometimes it might feel like riffraff. Sometimes it might feel like BS. Sometimes you might know that you might feel like you know better. You know this and you know that. Brothers, a lot of times they don't know. A lot of times they don't know. For real. My own wife said, you know what? She said, sometimes you think that I know or this. She said, I don't know. And so when I thought about that, I was like, you know what? You're right. I do expect you and think that you know because I've been over this 1,000 times with you. So let me take it from your point of view. You ain't grasping. So let me slow down and stop holding you accountable as if you know already, and let me deal and treat you like you don't know, because the way that I treat people that don't know is some way totally different. The way that I treat somebody that do know, like how should I say, he that knoweth to do his Lord's will and do it or not could be beaten with what? With many stripes. So you get treated a little different than somebody that don't know. Somebody that don't know, okay, check this out. This is the way it is. You can't be like that. You can't do this. You like treat me like that. Because man, listen, I'm really, maybe it got away. So let me slow down and process what I'm doing. That's the hedge. That creates only eyes for you. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
That creates only eyes for you. That's the hedge. Okay. So where was we at?
25. Ecclesiastes 36.
Ecclesiastes 36:25. Where no hedge is, there the possession of spoil. Read the last part.
And he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning.
You see that? I know that. You're gonna be very, very sad if your woman leave. I be knowing that. So when a brother come to me and you and your rib is fighting, okay, you ready to get rid of her now, but I know for real you're only doing this through anger. So I'm not going to listen to what you're doing because I know at the end of it, you're going to be sad as hell. For real, for real. When you calm down, you're going to be like, man, you know what, man, I should have just, man, I should have used less words. I could have went about it differently. So, that's why I need to be like, Shem, but you keep on telling me to go back in there. I'm telling you to go back in there because you're going to be sad. So, you like, she don't want to mess up and be by herself. You don't want to mess up and be by yourself. So it's an even thing. So sisters, I'm not dragging you to the mud and calling your dog behind your back and telling him to dump and get rid of you. I'm telling him to come home and make it right. Just like I don't go to any sister and say, you know what, he's no good, throw him to the curb, this, that, and the third. I tell you to be quiet and shut up and go listen to what he's saying. and use a soft answer, turn away wrath. If he do something that you don't like, tell him that I don't like this, but you must tolerate it, because it just gets worse and worse and worse. So to avoid that, why don't both of y'all submit, apply the scriptures? Whenever I go into a situation, the easiest thing is to apply the scriptures. That's so easy. It's like apply the scriptures. Because whenever I get into a situation, I'm just going to apply the scriptures. It just doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to apply the scriptures. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to apply the scriptures. If someone is saying, like, if she's saying, well, you're not listening. Okay, let me stop and let me listen to you then. And I'm going to hear her out. And once I hear her out, now it's time for you to apply scripture, because I know how to bring forth a solution to every problem that we can face. Let's make this thing too easy. That's how you get rid of Satan. Because if you resist him, then he'll flee. Children in the midst of this, they will not be happy. So you please the Most High by not putting children in the midst of this, in the midst of chaos like this, by not being a chaotic person. Let's go back to Ezekiel chapter 18. Excuse me. Okay, the book of Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 3. Start there.
Ezekiel 18:3. As I live, said the Lord God, ye shall not have occasion any more to use this proverb in Israel.
Meaning you're not going to have a reason to say this thing anymore. What is referring to is referring to the children are acting a certain way because of how the parents did. That is so true. I know firsthand. I've had a child say, oh, I'm acting like this because you dealt with my mama and my mama X, Y, and Z. And I've got multiple children in the world too. Nope. You can't be like that. You can't say that you turned out, my teeth is on edge because of the things that my parents did. Nope. The Most High shut that down. Everybody is fending for themselves. Everybody have an opportunity to turn out how they gonna turn out based upon the decisions and the choices that you make. Like you can't, on the flip side, you can't ride off my coattail or your mother's coattail. No, my dad, he loves and fears the Lord. I'm taking you with me everywhere I go. So I got a ticket to the kingdom. No, you don't. You have got to earn that number. You have got to work that out. The same way I can't ruin it for you is the same way I can't make it for you. You got to make it yourself. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
Yeah, right. The one that sins, that's the one that's going to be punished. Everybody get that? So, does that change? Does that change Leviticus chapter 26? If they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers. It doesn't change that. What that does is helps us to see that when our foreparents, when they did certain things wrong, the consequences fell upon them because of the things that they did wrong, right? So as a result, we don't want to repeat those things. So we can confess that they were wrong, and then we can examine ourselves. We can examine ourselves and confess that we did likewise things wrong. But we cannot say that, okay, the Most High is really jacking me up because my mom was a cigarette smoker or my mom did this. If I don't smoke cigarettes, I'm most likely not to get lung cancer. Everybody understand? He's going to jack the soul that sent it. He's going to jack it right up as high as the sky. And that's what we are trying to avoid one with another. That's why the preaching is so heavy here all the time. These doors are always open. The phone lines are always open and always available for you so that it can help you turn from your ways and you can have an opportunity for a better way through preaching, having somebody to talk to you. This actually is a blessed generation because I grew up in a generation to where we didn't have this preaching. My generation was pimps and players and drug addicts and all that kind of stuff. Thieves, they taught you how to get over, man. Made rap songs about running from the police, all kind of stuff. But now this next generation, the ones that are here now that are being preached to, the Most High is trying to say, if in my time, if I would have heard this, I believe I would have gravitated to it. Because as soon as I heard it, from the moment I heard it, I made haste. I didn't let the next day go by. The day I heard it, that was the day I began to follow it and keep it. The very same day. Can you imagine that? Now, if you compare yourself to another carnal man, how was that like for you the day that you heard it? Did you make haste? Did you stick to it? Did you gravitate to it? Or did you levitate from it? Did you embrace it and hold on to it? Or did it? Or are you still taking time out? Are you still taking time to grasp it, grappling at it? You ain't gonna never get like that. You gotta run full steam ahead into this thing. It's good. It's safe. You're talking to somebody that's been doing it for a while. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you wrong. Everything good gonna happen to you. The blessings is waiting for you, even while you living in this captivity that we in. The Most High knows how to open up doors for you, introduce you to great people, teach you how to see the best in people, and teach you how to be a better person, a better individual, to where you're not letting yourself down. You're not disappointing yourself, to where you can rejoice in yourself and you don't need somebody else to pep you up or coach you deceitfully to believe a lie that you're doing okay. You don't have to barely pass by a C, a D plus, a C plus. That's acceptable. No, you can pass with colors, flying colors in your actions, feeling good about yourself. And I believe that's what a lot of people really want. How do you do that? By making haste and not delaying to keep the Lord's commandments. So the book of Ezekiel Chapter 18 and verse 5.
But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right.
So a man, you got to be just and you got to do that which is lawful and right. This is going into how do we please the Most High, man? You got to do that which is just. You got to do that which is lawful and right. So the stuff that you learning, the stuff that you being taught, yeah, you actually got to do it. And stop putting it up to the side, because what happens is it adds up to things that you didn't do. Like chores around the house, I didn't mop, I didn't sweep, I didn't vacuum, I didn't clean the bathroom, I didn't do the dishes, I didn't take out the trash. So you see how those chores accumulate up? But what if you, when the trash cans get full, you take it out? Dishes, you wash dishes. Floors, you sweep the floors, you mop them. So those things are not, the scriptures say, bind not one sin upon another. So you don't let these things add up. The Bible says, for in one thou shalt not go unpunished. So you don't ever want, as you begin to learn the truth, do it. Do what is lawful and right. Go ahead.
And have not eaten upon the mountains.
And not eaten upon the mountains. What are the mountains? The stuff is what Israel is doing, the people in the world. Don't eat upon Just don't do what the people in the world is doing. Clubbing, religion, bad counsel, accepting wickedness. Nah, don't do that. Go ahead.
Neither hath lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel.
Right there. Who's the house of Israel? Your parents, your cousins, your aunties. People break my heart when they're like, my granddaddy's a pastor. You know, he's in the world. He's part of Christianity. He's a part of Muslim, Islam, all this, that, and the third. That is idolatry. You ain't supposed to follow your relatives that are in the midst of idolatry because they're nice. Oh, he gave me a place to stay. Yeah, what did Paul say? He said, I can give my body to be burned. I can give all my goods to feed the poor. But if I don't have charity, I'm nothing. So if you're not applying the scriptures, that doesn't mean nothing. Do not follow. This is how you please the Most High. Do not follow the things that you see other people are doing or the stuff that they take pleasure in doing. Stop trying to mirror. Stop trying to mirror what these people are doing. Some of us, we want to be like them so bad. Stop it. Stop trying to seek their approval. They don't even accept the God of the Bible. How are they going to accept you? Some of you are ashamed of the Bible and don't really realize that the Lord is going to be ashamed of you. But remember how the Spirit in me is telling men on how to deal with their wife. And don't take it personal. Say what you got to say. Keep moving, being optimistic, hoping that somebody gets through to them. That's how Christ is. So Christ is not taking it personal. He's really hoping that somebody gets through to you. By you really straight ashamed of them. Ashamed to always, if you're a woman covering your head up, what does that mean to cover your head up? That's showing that you're in subjection and submission up under to your husband, that you're in the order of the scriptures. That's like wearing a ring. That's showing that you are chosen. But if you so busy, you trying to, I know what inflation went up, and her dues went from $45 to $95, $100 and something dollars. You so busy trying to rock a curl. You're like, I don't want to wear a head cover. And the guy is like, wait a minute. See, he's being spiritual. Like the Hebrews going to see you, and they're going to know that you're a Hebrew woman, and they're going to think that you're some free maiden, and they're going to be looking at you and stuff like that. So you should do that. No, you can't be like that. Afraid or ashamed. Because you love in the world. Oh, man. This is so much. Go ahead. Neither
have defiled his neighbor's wife.
Neither have defiled his neighbor's wife. Now, not only is this person your neighbor, what else is he?
Israel.
Okay, he's Israel. What else?
Married.
Married. Okay, no. With something else. He's a brother. Okay. Now, he's a brother. What's the deal between the brother and his wife?
They got something going on.
Your brother and his wife. What's up with those two?
They married.
They married, but something else. Why would you defile them? Go ahead. What are you saying? No, we're missing it. They're having problems. Why would a woman step out? Why would she step out? Your brother and his wife is having problems. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, and this happens between couples. Mm-hmm. When couples are having problems, they are not being intimate. Mm-hmm. The appeal is gone. It's really not there. When you're young and you're single, you're full of that sensation. But when you in the big leagues, when you get married, okay, this is bigger than the NFL, the NBA. It's bigger than that. Marriage is over the top. I'm not saying the wrong. I'm just saying this is you in the big leagues now. So when you're in the big leagues, you're in the professional league, you got to be professional. So all that stuff that I'm saying, you know, it takes the Holy Spirit. It takes the Holy Spirit to maintain this relationship, this marriage. That's tougher than shooting a basketball. Anybody can shoot hoops. Anybody could, what else they do? Run a football, crazy stuff. But to be on the same page with a woman and woman be on the same page, that takes training. That's why I teach the singles, get it before you enter into holy matrimony. Don't just run up into somebody and be like, oh, we're going to be together because I think we had some chicken wings and shit, chicken wings. Wait till you want this woman to move and she don't want to move. Wait till you want him to move and he don't want to move. You're like, wait a minute, there ain't no subtraction, wait a minute. Hey, it's deeper than you can ever imagine. So this thing is big. Now, fussing and fighting is real. Being turned off is real. Marriage growing cold, it's real. Then Satan, the devil, is real. So now you got Satan coaching both people to go ahead and spiritually commit suicide. Just don't be with them. And they'll start outwardly saying what's in their mind. They ain't never outwardly saying that. God forbid. Lord, continue to be over me and protect me. Put my mouth in my heart and not my heart in my mouth. Brothers, learn that. Everything that comes to mind don't supposed to come out your mouth. It's things that you don't say. It's lines that you don't cross. But when you cross the line, it's not hard. That line, you already on the other side. That's why you keep saying the same old things over and over. And it'd be so abrasively, abusively painful that, and you don't really feel it. It's like, I'm saying that to let you know how I feel, to bag you down, just so you know. You don't know, you just slaughtered her. Slaughtered. And you want to know how it came to mind to where she wanted to end up in just for somebody else's hand. Satan will lead and guide him there. So as a man, you can't do that. Your neighbors, your brother, because that's what it is. Your brother's woman end up in your hand. No shape, form, or fashion. You please the Most High by not getting in the midst of a situation like that. Because every marriage will have a hard time. And you is not the shoulder to lean on. Oh, she just was talking. Oh, we this. No, not you. You was not the shoulder to lean on, brother. You gotta, and sisters, you don't, if you know that you have a hard time, because every sister in here has had a dispute or dispute with their husband, and you feel some type of way, like this is it. And we all have sung that. You all have sung that same old song. Oh, I ain't gonna never do nothing. You know, I just be by myself, this, that, and the third. Yeah, you saying that now because that flesh ain't singing. Talk to somebody else. But push come to shove, and men will play the whore. They're going on about their business. They'll leave. They'll just go for months. And in your mind, you'll be like, well, forget it then, because if he cared, then he would have still took this. He would have still took this problem. he'd have still been here. He'd have been around if he cared. Well, he did care, but maybe he was weaker than you. Because there are a lot of men that are weaker than you. Women love, I know women. Women love and they care when they say they don't care. And they show their care and concern by pain. And when they hurt, then they have to exact that pain out on you by trying to disrespect you, by trying to be retaliate against you, and this, that, and the third. It's because I believe that they trying to get you to do something that you don't see or you don't understand. And they just like to see you constantly dead. That's a feminine trait of a woman. They want you to kiss their butt. They want you to just continue to beg them and plead. Like, what more can I do? I'm sorry. Okay, I'll be here. I'll be there. I got you. You know, they just want to see you chase. And then there are some men that are not chasers. Just like I'm not going to. Well, is you saying you're not going to chase?
I'm open. Thank you.
Okay. You got to run after that girl, man. That girl wants to see you chase her. Well, listen though. So sisters, you don't want to gamble like that because men, you playing hard to get. When I say hard to get, I'm not saying sexually. I'm just saying that you playing hard to where you're not really gonna. You gonna act right and you want to act right, but you playing hard to get me now. I'm playing hard to act right, but eventually, I know I really want to act right. If you playing that role, that's a turn up to the man too. And he in his mind would just think that he's not patient like me. Y'all think I'm gonna just, he an old man. Yeah, I'm older than you. So, and although it took me a long time to really figure this out and find out a lot of things, and that's fine too. But I've always been passive and settled and patient in certain things, and I've learned how to be patient in other things. And so figuring out certain things, I try and relate the things that I have figured out. So, and that's why I be teaching my guys to just, hey, let the woman come around and be the first partaker of the fruit so that you can give it to her so that she can see it. But a lot of them, they want to see some fruit in you faster than the Most High is producing it in you. So I'm saying don't play around with it. Because if you happen to push a guy to where he moves on, it puts you in a situation to where Satan will put into your mind that you are open. And remember, what did Yahushua say? Whoso married her, which is put away, do commit adultery. So you're not trying to transgress the law of the Most High. I hope we're understanding this. You cannot just undo because you now feel angry, upset, or renewed. You are in an agreement that has to come to term. The term is you finish it unto life, immortality, or you destroy it unto death, everlasting. Yeah, that it ain't no reverting back until I'm ignorant. I don't know what I didn't know all of that. It ain't none of that. So the best case scenario is to finish it, even though it's a tough and hard course, until life, immortality, everlasting, which ends in the resurrection. So before I continue, are we all clear? So, brothers, if a woman, ends up needing some help or some assistance, it's not your place. That's somebody's woman. You can't go into your brother's woman. Sisters, you can't expect brothers to come in unto you because it doesn't work out with you and somebody else. Can't nobody ever touch you. You baby sister. You understand? That's all you are. You ain't nothing more, nothing less. You are not attractive. You somebody's woman. And because y'all fell out, that's the gist of it. That's the end of it. This is supposed to be a safe haven. It's hands off. So knowing that you can't be with anybody else, I suggest that you make it work where you at. So you don't pee in the bed and you got to lay in it. Yeah. So then don't mess your relationship up because that's where you got to be. So you got to use your thinking cap and not mess things up. So speak one at a time. When he wants to talk, button it up and honestly listen until he's finished. And then politely say, okay, you finished it. I do got something to say. And then you say and let him talk. And then there's no need for you to be put in a position to where you tempted to test the Most High, because the Most High, he cannot be tempted with evil. And he is not, that's unforgivable. He ain't going to forgive that. He's not going to excuse that. So brothers, you want to be mindful of that. And before we move on to my singles that played the whore in time past, how much whore do you want forgiven? You're supposed to let that stuff that you've done suffice, be enough. Brothers, don't just be so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to embrace any woman because, oh, this sister show up, she's standing third. You don't know where this woman been. Oh, you finna hug the devil? You don't know. The Bible talks about us being reported of works. What is the report? You don't know. So that's why you got to use the scriptures in 1 Timothy that talks about sisters with all purity, looking at them with all purity, never putting it into your mind, oh, this is a potential. Everybody that's doing that is fornicating. And they're going to have a lot of hard times. And they hide it in social media behind a cute picture. Oh, we at the beach. But we fought at night. They didn't take that one there. She kicked the dent in his door. She's keyed it because he was with somebody else. She broke a window out. They didn't tell you that. He gave her some venereal disease. They didn't tell you that. But you just saw pictures at the beach. So don't be so fast to jump up and I'm going to be with Darla. That's a Spanky's girl. I'm going to be with her. Satan sent that. Y'all seen Satan. Every time something happens, you supposed to get the experience from it. You've seen Satan send somebody to take somebody out of the. It's like, remember the situation where we said that Satan was sending somebody to take this person up out. It was like Satan put on the sheep's clothing. Satan put the sheep head on. Satan put the sheep body on and zipped it up and tucked the zipper and looked just like a sheep and had the sheep to follow Satan right on up out of that door. So this is, you will not be guilty if you don't defile yourself with your brother's woman. Excuse me. If your brother leave, he gets bugged out and he leave and his woman stay behind, is she fair game? You sure? You sure?
Mhm.
Anybody else? Your brother Lee, he bugs out.
You still dealing with her, right?
Nah. Now he left her.
You know, she ain't working right.
She lied about it.
So listen, yay or nay?
No.
No, she's not. She's not for a game. Not for a game. Not for a game. You sure? How not? She's gone. He's gone.
He's not dead though. Right.
But he's gone. He's dead. He's dead to her. He's dead to her. He's dead to the Most High.
Hey, when you say bug out, like I'm just trying to put it in perspective to 1 Corinthians, where it's talking about if the non-believer departs, and where it says there's no law put on bondage.
Okay, go ahead. You asking or telling me something?
I'm asking.
Okay, because I don't want to be asked. I want to be told.
No, I'm saying.
And I want to know why. Because he's dead. If he's bugged out and he left,
But the law states that she cannot be separated from her husband unless he dies. Regardless of being a prostitute, she can probably win him over by staying around and doing what she's supposed to do. She can probably win him back over and reconcile him back into the truth.
sure, she don't want him. So, yeah, hey, they've been fighting all this time, and he finally left. For a moment, she probably want, but then after a while, she's like, I'm glad. I'm tired. I was tired of it anyway. Good riddance. He's like, so what's the verdict?
I say no, because even though he bugged out and left, he was still hurt in the body though.
I think I'm getting that because you brothers, you like, if you bug out, you like, I don't want nobody to deal with my woman, then act right. Then just act right then.
That's the truth, but at the same time.
See, girl, you say that's the truth.
Hey, I'm gonna be real though. Real. Ain't nobody. I'm not thinking of nobody bail my woman here now. But I'm just saying.
Right.
The law still, regardless of how I feel, the law still state that she can't just because she tired of he went off into the world or whatever.
But the next two agree. It's like he's dead to her,
Did they label
and she dead to him, and she like, yo, and wait a minute, they was living together, everything, but Lonnie is gonna pick up the pieces. Lonnie gonna pick up the pieces, and he ain't coming back. He is staying in Philadelphia somewhere. He went to Philadelphia. Okay, go ahead.
So it's 1 Corinthians 7:15. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister not under bondage in such case, but God have called us to peace.
That don't have nothing to do with this.
No, because hold on.
But the bugged out and
Trust me. Okay, I can see, but let's not use that because that's dealing with they were unbelieving from the start. They were unbelieving from the start. See, these were two believers, and they didn't take heed to all these lessons, and they just kept fussing, they bite and devour one another, and he booked up and left Honey Bunny. He really gonna act right now. Call her Honey Bunny. Left Honey Bunny on the table.
I got it.
So, but I'm saying, I heard what y'all saying. I heard what you saying. But to her, he's dead. And to him, she's dead. Okay. So that's, so do anybody disagree? I mean,
Yeah, I disagree.
This is a good woman. Now we're gonna turn her good because experience takes you through something. Now she's ready to act right. So now she's good. Then she's a good woman on the table. One man's junk is another man's treasure. One man's junk is another man's wife. So, can't do it? Anybody?
In the truth? Nah.
Yeah, in the GA.
Nah. That's really bad. I don't think that's not. I say no.
It's the law. It's the law.
Okay. So we'll listen. No, you can't.
See, I knew
He's like, wait a minute. But this is such and such. This Yvette. Yvette a good sister. You waited too late, Yvette. He should have been good when he was here. That's how the mind does, though, man. The mind will push you and push you and push you to where you call evil good. And sometimes, a lot of times, experience is the greatest teacher, and you get an experience, and then now all of a sudden, you want to be good. You want to be perfect. Well, don't end up good, righteous, and perfect after you have destroyed that thing. Because once you destroy it, it's gone. And like they kept screaming, the law, the law, the law. You see how I wasn't hearing the law? That's how you're going to be. That people are going to be screaming the law to you, and you're not even listening to it. You're not listening. Like, no, if you're not paying attention and the law is telling you, don't act up, that this is going to happen, and you're not listening, all you can think about is one day you're going to walk up out of my life and JR going to be there for me. Somebody going to be there. If that's all you thinking about, man, you're going to be in a world of trouble, man, because the Lord going to send the devil himself. He's going to send you somebody that really ain't going to listen to you. We're going to drag you through the mud. It's going to be even worse than what you thought, because nobody comes with a good foot forward with the true foot forward and say, hey, I'm lazy, no good. I'm a dog. I'm going to beat on you. Man, hey, I'm going to treat you like X, Y, and Z. Nobody does that. Let me tell you something. I got a cute little niece. All my daughters and my nieces are very fair and beautiful young girls. I got this little niece that's really super fast. I'm not super fast. She is super fast. I'm ashamed of this behavior. And she exploited her promiscuousness to the 10th power. And some little dude beat her to a pulp. Treated her like a dog, bit her in the face, dog on there, bit her lip off in wrath. I'm surprised my little brother and novice dad didn't kill him. A little while ago, he'd have killed him. For a fact. Some years ago, he'd have been a dead nigga in St. Louis. I didn't even get in the mix. One day he called me, wanted to talk to me about something. I knew what that call was about. The Lord told me, but we didn't have that talk. He didn't call. I think he let it go. You can't tell who are you introducing yourself to. You don't know. She is just like any one of y'all, very fair. The only thing is you're in the commandments and you are being drilled not to step out there and test that water because it's deep. It's like an ocean and the current is swift. And you like, okay. And every day, that's why every day I have to coach you and tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Wait till you get a life raft. Wait till you get married. Wait till you prove this person. Wait till X, Y, and Z. And then you take that leap of faith. Until then, trust nobody. Go out your life. She didn't have that. Maybe she didn't listen. I don't know what the case is, but she got drugged through the mud. And she wasn't, and you know, she wasn't afraid. She put it on social media, say, this is what somebody did to me. I think her eye was all black and swollen or something. Her lip was hanging off and all of that stuff. That's how I saw it. Somebody had something.
Oh, good.
So, sisters, love the one you got. Keep them. It's good in each and every last one of them. You have to bring out yours and say, hey, this is, I'm bringing out mine. Let me see yours. And don't go after nothing else. I keep my sanity because I'm not out looking. I love the one I got and I just keep it moving. Deal with what you have. But brothers, you please the Most High by not going into your neighbor's wife. Don't even entertain her woes, her issues, her problem. If that ever come to you, talk to your brother and say, yo, you got a problem, huh? And then you deal with him. You know, so leave it. I'll leave it at that. But no, if he moves on, woman, you got a problem. You have a real serious problem. And that's on God. So you don't let him out of your sight for nothing in the world. And neither do you anything, neither should you do anything to drive him out of your sight. And fussing and fighting and arguing and cussing and this and being stubborn and rebellious, murmuring, talk back and being slothful and lazy, doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, that is tearing your house down. Because Satan can get to him and be like, forget this. Do it by yourself. Do it alone. This, that, and the third. Trying to sing you away. I can only do so much. I have had people to stop talking to me because I'm telling them what to do. Go home and make it right. So like I'm talking because he's going to tell me to go home and make it right. That does happen. So if you can't get through to him and I can't get through to him, that's an indication of who else is not getting through to him. The Most High. So you don't want to put him in a habit of thinking like that. All right. So either have defiled his neighbor's wife. So that's a no-no. Go ahead.
Neither had come near to a menstruous woman.
Neither come near to a menstruous woman. What is that? Right. That's going into them when they're on their cycle. So married couples. When a woman is set apart, she's set apart. You do not supposed to go in unto this woman when she's on her menstrual. Neither are you supposed to have alternatives. I'm gonna choose an alternative way to appease my affection. Not when she's set apart, because technically when she was set apart, anything that she had touched was technically unclean. So the way of that was to take her completely out of the midst, and you wasn't supposed to be around her, period. So using an alternative way to appease your affection is the same thing. So you have to cut that. If brothers was doing that or sisters was doing that, you can't do that. You ain't pleasing the Most High like that. I know that you feeling and thinking that, well, it's not direct intercourse, but it's still coming in one to another. You're supposed to allow your body to heal. What is it?
I was just trying to understand what you meant by 122, but I got it.
Right. It's big, isn't it?
Yeah, I know that's what I was.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody clear? Right. Okay. So Ezekiel chapter 18, and who just went downstairs? Okay, Uzziah, let me know how the speaker is sounding downstairs. So this is Ezekiel chapter 18, and now verse 7.
And have not oppressed any, but had restored to the debtor his pledge, had spoiled none by violence, had given his bread to the hungry, and had covered the naked with a garment.
Have not oppressed any. You know what oppress is? Oppress is like financially. When you see somebody financially incapacitated, don't add more oppression unto them. When you see somebody financially incapacitated, they like, oh, I don't have it. You add more on top of their oppression. The Bible talks about relieving the oppressed. So you try and aid and help when you possibly can. You know, we're in an age to where at times we are indebted one to another. So when someone is indebted unto you, you try to be lenient as much as you possibly can that lie within you pertaining to that debt, and not hold them like an unjust creditor. So do we kind of understand what's being said? Right. Go ahead.
Because like for instance, somebody could have like some extra funds, but they ain't gotta pay a bill right away. But you know what I'm saying? They could drag it out. But once they get at those funds to somebody because they actually need them like right now, like and it's only fair that they come up with like some type of agreement, like, okay, I need these funds back right then and there, you know what I'm saying? And not so much like, you could take your time giving it back to me type thing.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So like, say if somebody has some extra funds, but they do have bills to pay, and they don't need to, pay that bill right away. But the person that do need the funds like right away, they ask you about some fun, like, to borrow something, and then you like, okay, cool, you can go ahead and borrow this, but I do need this back at this certain time and date. Like, that's not like oppressing them, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, so he's asking if you loan somebody some money and you say, give it back to me at a certain time, is that oppressing them? The answer is no. The answer is no. I think I use debt collection. It's because maybe sometimes, from time to time, you may be indebted one to another for whatever reason. Okay. Oppression is excessive. Okay. And so, like right now, the Europeans are oppressing us. That's oppression. And they'll deal with that. The Most High gonna deal with that. The prices of everything that they inflate. Inflation, the inflation now, if you guess, why do you think that they're inflating everything?
To make you go broke.
I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with goods hard to get. Okay. You are stronger than a trillionaire. You're the United States government. The United States government get what they want. they do what they want to do. So all that um, I don't know if I was leaning back. I want to go try it again while I'm sitting forward. All of that is a farce. It's bogus. Okay. So inflation is, somebody said, because they want you to go broke. Things are being inflated because yes, they know you'll go broke. Once you go broke, what's going to happen? It's going to cause you to come back to work. So they're trying to get you back to work. And they're trying to force you in a situation to where, okay, you need to take the vaccine to work. So they get the money back that you are holding on to so that you can run out of it so that you can come back to work. So it's all a circus. It's a game that they play. Yeah. So meat is 3 times as high. Gasoline is continuing to climb up, but they're not giving you no wages. The prices of new automobiles has doubled. You know, did anybody get a 3 times as much wage? Well, if you was making $13 an hour, you're now making $39 an hour. You see.
The old core,
Mm-hmm.
they charge for the old core double. 2010 truck, 40,000.
Yeah.
$200,000.
200,000 miles. Right. Man. Oh, I heard somebody say I had a dream. Let me tell you about the last couple of dreams that I had. I had one last night. A couple nights before that, I had this dream that me and a bunion was running down a street. And people were lined up to the right of us. They were lined up taking shots. And we were running. And he was in front of me. And they said, I guess he ignored them, but they said that the lady must have said, "Baby, did you take your shot?" And I said, "Yeah, I already had one." And then she asked, "Which one? Like, what brand did I take?" So I kept going. So we turned the corner left, and still people on the right lined up getting more shots. But these people were handing the physical needles out. And so he took one, and then I took one. And then we turned the corner right, and then left again. And then we went past some trash cans, and we threw the needles in the trash can. And for some reason, I think I ended up waking up. But at the time, it was like hella scary and very vivid. So, you know, they're really, really imposing liberty pertaining to the vaccine. They really, really clamping down. Okay. And then what refreshed it is when Dwight told me that people are all in line somewhere at a Walgreens or something out the door getting free shots. And then they kind of reminded me of the dream, that I had. But I had a short clip dream last night. I don't know where I was going. I was going into some kind of place of business, and I had a small firearm with me, and I was trying to sneak it in. So I had it in my back pocket, and they were checking at the door. I feel like I was in Illinois. So because it's half square, I put the cell phone in my pocket on the outside of the phone so that when they check me, they'll feel the cell phone. So I get up to get checked to go in. I was following others in. And when they checked me, there's like, the guy flashed the bag and said, "You can't bring that in here, man. take it back out. I said, oh, okay, no problem. I was happy to get away. So I turn around and leave and I come back out. So when I come out, I'm walking to the car to put it up. And all of a sudden, it started raining balls that was huge. And they was coming hard and they was hitting the earth like boom, pop, 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 pop. And I was like, dang. So I got down next to a fence because I guess the wind was blowing it and the fence was protecting me. I covered my head up. And when I got up, it had stopped. And when I got up, I noticed that it was potatoes. And I looked and they were everywhere. And I was like, wow. And the people was shouting. They was like, thank God, thank God. And I was like, why are y'all so happy? And they was like, because of the famine, because of the famine. You know, like God fed us. And so before I know, I picked up a couple. Everybody else had trash cans and they had wheelbarrows and they was collecting. And they was collecting all the stuff, but I only had 2 of them. I had nowhere to put them. So by the time I walked across the street through a lot to somewhere else, I mean, all the food was gone. The people had picked it up. I mean, they flew upon it. So I had only 2 of them. And I made it home, not to my natural house, but I made it home. And for some reason, I felt the presence of my older brother. So I got a deceased brother that's 5 years older than I am. He was there. And I take them up to him. And I told him what happened. I said, man, look. I said, it started raining these. And all the people took them all. But this is the only thing I got to show that this is what happened. And then I woke up. So I take it that if I was just to comprehend, it's going to be a famine. And the Most High is going to feed us. But it'll go fast. He straight rained down food. I know the food is a potato, something that I'm not eating right now, but that's what it was. That was the strangest thing. And this was just last night. It was so realistic. It was amazing, man. All right. So back to the scriptures. So and have not oppressed any. So we don't, we don't want to oppress nobody. Okay. It says, but have restored to the debtor his pledge. Now, when you look at this, it's something that you got to get back. You got to give somebody something that's indebted unto you. And it's something, a pledge is something that he took that you took from him like collateral, right? So you cannot be scandalous. Like, you know what they do in pawn shops? They really try to suck you in to make you lose your stuff, right? They give you so much time to pay on it. And if you skip the payments, if you miss it by a day, they're like, oh, you missed it. So you lose your collateral. And a lot of times you might give them something very valuable, but you will not sink and take all the money that you can out of it, because that means that is that much more you have to pay back, right?
They don't even give you all the money for it that you could make off.
Right. But they can give you enough for you to lose it.
Yeah.
So, you have to be mindful of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in that situation and somebody give you collateral, you have to restore the collateral back to them and not beat them out of it. So we kind of understand. Okay, someone is saying no. I give you something to hold. And I said, you act as a pawn shop. I say, well, hold my watch, my Apple Watch. Normally, $20. And you give me the 20 and I give it back, but you want to beat me out of the watch. Like, you just beat me out of it, you don't give it back. You cannot do that. There are often times when people give certain things to you and the spirit of covetousness will come, because this is what is going into covetousness. The spirit of covetousness will come in and you will not want to return it because it's nice. And you personally don't want to pay for it. You ever saw somebody with something that you don't want to pay for? I have a lot of times, right? I can't covet it because personally, I don't want to pay for that, but you pay for that, right? So why should I cover your stuff that you pay for? So I have to restore that. Remember, it's going into a debt. I give you a debt. I give you something, and in return, you pledge something to me. You give me collateral. It says pledge, but it's talking about the term that we use today is collateral. So you give me collateral, right? You pay the debt back. I don't give you the collateral. You can't do that. You have to restore that pledge. It says, have spoiled none by violence, meaning you don't rip somebody off by violence. I think it was, remember a few months ago, we was like, are we going to be able to go in and do this, that, and the third? So I know he like, that's still up for a debate. Well, we don't want to spoil any by violence. For safety's sake, let's say not nobody, because if somebody falls by doing that, it's almost like they're going to get what they deserve. They probably wish that they'd had to just pass by that house. So we'll get it by way of abandonment or maybe by somebody that has fallen, and not we're going to try and spoil somebody to get it. Because I would hate to be the one going someplace trying to spoil somebody to get something, and then the fallen one. I'll be like, dang, I wish I had to pass by this place. Okay, what is it about?
I was gonna mention a few years back, somebody I grew up with, he tried to rob a guy in a wheelchair. I figured he would, I guess he figured he would get his money off of him. But the guy in a wheelchair, he had a gun, he killed him.
He had a sawed off?
He didn't have a sawed off.
Oh.
He killed him. He killed him with his gun, and it didn't go the way that he planned. You would figure the disabled guy, was defenseless and stuff. You would just take his money, but it didn't really go that way for him.
Right. It never ends up like that, man. Kaboom. So we don't want to spoil anybody, man, by violence. So remember, these are all little things that help us please the Most High to come on a high level. It says, have given his bread to the hungry. So you see someone that's hungry and you'll, help them out. Not just the spiritual aspect of it too, but the physical aspect, because there are people, that are hungry too, right? And have covered the naked with a garment. Okay. Verse 8.
He that had not given forth upon usury.
Right, given forth upon usury. You know what that is? Okay. That's alone. If I call you and I say, hey, loan me $100, and I say, okay, give me $120 back. And you need it, and you say, okay, next time you get paid, you have to give me $120 back. Well, you in a worse situation because now you starting off, you was behind, and now you starting off even further behind, and you went $20 even further into deficit because you had to give me $20. The usury is interest. So, what if the person says, loan me $100 and I'll give you 120 back? Huh?
I'm saying that's different.
It's different? No, it's no different. You're supposed to be trying to relieve them. You're supposed to try. You're trying to help them and teach them too.
I thought you said let me borrow.
I did it. I just in reverse. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was you trying to say? I just said it in reverse. I know the first time I said, what if a person
Need to thanks for $100.
they ask for $100 and you say, give me 20 back. Right? And I said, and you say, give me 20 back. They're going to agree because they need $100. And when they get paid, they're going to be like, okay, I could take care of this bill now. I just sacrificed the $20. I'll do the 120. Fine. They're going to do that, right? The Most High says don't do that to them. Because you're trying to really help this person and not really charge it, because we're going to be indebted in each other's life to a point to where we really can't pay one another back for all the good deeds that we do. It's bigger than money. You know what I'm saying? This is a fellowship. This is a brotherhood. This is a friendship. This is unity of the spirit. So this is the goodness of the Most High. So to help each other, we're not charging each other to help each other. Now, when we exchange and back and forth, even exchange is not a robbery right there. If I give you 100 and you say, I'm gonna give it back, then it's fair that you give it back. So the Most High said that's enough right there. You don't have to go over and beyond to do it. A person should do it out of their kindness and not because you put something on it. So whether, if you say, you're not to say, give me 20 on top of it, and you're to reject it. If I say, I'm gonna give you 120 back, I shouldn't have to do that to get you to do it. Right. And if I say I'm gonna give you 120 back, you say, no, brother, just give me the $100 back on Friday, like you say. And that's good enough right there. Okay. So we got to make sure that we deal like that. If we're dealing like that, things will go right with us. Okay. So then it says, so we restore the pledge, have not spoiled none by violence. So this is Ezekiel 18:7. I've given his bread to the hungry, covered the naked, have not given forth upon usury. Verse 8, neither have taken any increase. Okay. Pretty much the same thing. Okay. Neither have taken any increase. It's the same thing. Okay. That have withdrawn his hand from iniquity, have executed true judgment between man and man. So there's no respect of persons. There's this is my boy X, Y, and Z. This is my girlfriend for sisters. This is my BFF. What does that stand for? Best buddy. Oh, it's BFF and not BBF. Okay. BFF, best friend. Okay. All right. BBF or something.
What's that? That's Buzz Forever?
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know. Okay. Hey, listen. I don't be knowing what all of this stuff means. Sometimes I don't even look outside the book. So when this stuff be popping up, I don't even know what that means. I be having to ask y'all, what does this slang mean? What does this mean? WYD, all that. What you doing?
They had 15 characters with all the women knew what it was. I'm like, what?
They talking in letters. It was just we back in the prehistoric, the Stone Ages, and Jake be knowing what that stuff is. So the latter part is executing true judgment between man and man. So sisters, remember we talked about this earlier. Executing true judgment between man and man. It doesn't matter who it is. You're the same with this person and that person. There is no favoritism, but the judgment is true, regardless of who it falls upon. So you know, this is the same thing with us. The judgment has to be the same from person to person without having respect to persons. Okay. Verse 9.
Have walked in my statutes and have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just. He shall surely live.
Right. So he walked in the statutes, kept the judgments. We know what the statute is, right? The statute is the limitation dwelling between 2 points. That takes some self-practice to make sure that you don't overdo something. Make sure that at the conclusion of every situation, that what's being done is what the Most High say to do, and then deal right. That's what deal truly means. It says deal right. He is just. That means that's right. He is just. He shall surely live, said the Lord. Verse 10.
If he beget a son that is a robber, a shedder of blood, and that doeth the like to any one of these things.
If he get a son that is a robber, meaning, yeah, he's a thief, he breaks in, he's a murderer, he's a bruiser, abrasive, he beats up. It sounds like a lot of, we will call it thugs, this, that, and the third. You get a bad child. Go ahead.
Or that doeth the like to any one of these things, and that doeth any of these duties, but even had eaten upon the mountains and defiled his neighbor's wife.
Right. So you got a son that does any of these things all the way up to the above, to the top. Verses 1 all the way down. Go ahead.
Hath oppressed the poor and needy, had spoiled by violence.
Right.
Have not restored the pledge, and have lifted up his eyes to the idols, have committed abomination, have given forth upon usury, and have taken increase. Shall he then live?
Shall he live? This is the answer to why a lot of people end up in the streets, shot up. We understanding it?
Yes, sir.
So what is the solution to this? Now we're talking about the children. What is the solution? Verse 10, if he beget a son, and he do all of this, shall he then live? What is the solution to avoid this? You got to teach your son. Man, you got to teach your son. Okay, go ahead.
I was looking at that verse 9 says he walked in my statutes and had kept my judgments. So when he be a righteous man who already taught and trained up his son the right way, and his son decided to go off from that.
this is trying to tell you in verse 9. Well, the answer is yeah. This person will live if he walk in the statutes. He's just. He'll live. If he get a son that don't do this.
Now, I was saying if he walking in the judgments and the statutes of the Most High, then he's teaching his children.
Well, you can teach your children. Your children don't always listen though. Just because you teach them don't mean that they're gonna listen. They can. That's why it says, if he beget a son, that is a robber. So this guy's just in verse 9, but he had a son. So if he gets a son that does any of these things, and when you get down to verse 13, he shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. So the righteousness of the father cannot save the son. The son is going to die in his sin. So children, you cannot hide behind your parents. You're like, oh, my mom, people be always like, my mom go to church. My dad go to church. Oh, yeah, my daddy's a preacher. My granddaddy's a preacher. Pants down behind their knees. But that's the example that they had, because this example, we ain't grew yet to truly be the grandparents and the truth yet. Those of us, some of us are, but as this continue to flourish, then we're going to continue to multiply even more and more. But as it stands now, a lot of them try to ride the coattail of so-called churchgoers. And in other words, they use that to say, I got some home training. My mom talked to me about that. My dad talked to me about that. And they want the conversation to be over. Like, oh, okay. They talked to you about church? Yeah. And now they want a lighter so they can reach the blunt. And they want you to give them credit like they know what the Bible say. They say, but you've been doing all these things that are an abominable. Guess what? He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. The Most High said, I'm going to take that blood from out of your body and I'm going to spread it all over your body. You're going to be covered with your own blood. That's what that means. His blood going to be upon him for that, for what he did. And a lot of people don't think that they're going to suffer the consequences for breaking all these things that they're doing. And guess what? These things seem harmless. They just seem like, oh, this is just a selfish example of a person. Well, who said I can't get interest from my money? What Snoop Dogg and them say, yo, beat your me, and all the rest of the stuff. That all the rappers and all the people that's in the street doing this, that, and the third, feeling and saying, hey, the Most I say I kill people for that. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 18 and now verse 14.
Now, lo, if he beget a son.
So listen, if he beget a son, go ahead.
Then seeth all his father's sins, which he had done.
Go ahead.
And consider
it. Go ahead.
And do it not such like.
That's right. He see the stuff that his father did, and his father was in the sin, and he say, I ain't gonna do that. Go ahead.
That have not eaten upon the mountains, neither had lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife.
Stop. That means he didn't just choose any woman, right? Because if you go out in the street, and you just choose any woman, you breaking that. Go to Ecclesiastes 9. Ecclesiastes Chapter 9 and verse 7.
Ecclesiastes Chapter 9 and 7. Look not round about thee in the streets of the city.
Right. Look not round about thee in the streets of a city. Remember, so you're trying to avoid dealing with your neighbor's wife. Everywhere you go, your neighbor's woman is in the street. All these women are taken, man. It's more women taken that's not taken. And the ones that are saying that they not taken, they taken. They taken because they literally don't really understand commitment and they're laying in the bed with somebody. And this is the only guy they're saying, oh, this is the guy that I'm with. This is the guy that I'm doing. I only been with him. He just ain't really claiming or making a big deal or making a commitment or whatever. But you got to know that you have to teach them the difference between being up front and honest and open and saying, hey, this is what I'm with. Because 9 times out of 10, you meet some woman out there in the street, and I know it's sisters in your mind, a little antenna going up like that. Not me. But I ain't talking about y'all. Remember, we're talking about people that are not being lectured on an everyday basis to keep your skirt up. Because if you wasn't being lectured every day, you'd be in a relationship. You'd have some type of boyfriend. You'd have some type of boyfriend if you wasn't being lectured every day. And it starts with going to the movie, going out to eat. Then boom, there you go. Okay, a drink or two. There you go. So let's exclude you. The ones out in the street. 9%, a high percentage of those women are already intimately involved with somebody that they probably don't claim. That's why Yahushua said, "Thou hast well said, thou hast no husband." See, he said, "But thou hast had 5, and the one you got now, that you said truly is not your husband because she's not committed." So the Lord said, don't look round about the streets, neither wander thou in the solitary places thereof. What is the solitary places? Shops, stores, malls. Why do you think the people want to go and walk the mall? Where are you going to the mall? Because they know that's where all the people are going to hang out. I'm going to the park. I'm going here. I'm going to this. Where's the happenings at? Where's the club at? Where's the hangout at? Where is here? Where is there? Where is the set at? Those are all solitary places that people go and hang out because they are going looking one for another. That's what you don't do. And our sons, if they do that, the Most High is going to punish them because they are going to end up dealing with somebody that has somebody else already. Read the next verse.
Verse 8, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty.
See, that beauty belongs to somebody else. You got to turn away your eye from that woman. That woman belongs to somebody else. You think, even if she did buy that car, you think somebody else didn't beat you to the looking? Yes. She belongs to somebody else. All right, go ahead.
For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman.
Right. That deceit is telling you she's single. She's living a single life. She's available. That beauty is talking to you. But it's not telling you to stop looking, that she belongs to somebody else. So let's go back.
Hey, Sean, I was gonna say that they got so bad now where the women, they take pictures with a guy that they be dealing with, then straight up put a emoji right on their face, so they block his face from being seen, but they'll be right there next to the person.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you seen that too?
I don't know.
Yeah. So Ezekiel Chapter 18. And we was at the latter part of 15. You see? So listen, it says, at the end, Noah have defiled his neighbor's wife. Who is this? Shy? Who is this? Ezekiel 18 and 15, the last precept. Noah have defiled his neighbor's wife. Who is that? LeBron James or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Who is that? I said Elisha. Change your name. 18 and 15, right. Ezekiel chapter 18 and 15, have not defiled his neighbor's wife. Who is that? Okay. Jabril. Who was that? You know or you don't? Obadiah. Look, Trevon, do you know? Obadiah, do you know?
The righteous father, son.
Right. It's the son of a righteous father. You got to pay attention. You have to pay attention.
Is this the son from verse 10? No, I know, yeah, but I'm saying, he's talking about the righteous.
Now this is, yes. Well, he said, is this the son from verse 10? If he beget a son that is a robber, so this shedder of blood that doeth the like to any of these things, and that doeth not any of those duties, and verse 11, and that doeth not any of those duties, but even have eaten up upon the mountains of Israel, and have defiled his neighbor's wife, have oppressed the poor and needy, and spoiled by violence, have not restored the pledge, and have lifted up his eyes unto the idols, have committed abomination, have given forth usury, and taken increase. Shall he then live? He shall not live. He have done all these abominations, he shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. Lo, if he beget a son, and see it all of his rights, so it's a different son. And that see it all of his fathers. So now, if he get a son, and he see all of his father's sins, which he have done, and consider it, and do it not such like, that have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes unto the idols of the house of Israel, have not defiled his neighbor's wife. Right, so this is a son that chooses not to be wicked, neither have oppressed any, have not withholden the plague, so he gave the plagues back, neither have he spoiled by violence, but have given his bread unto the hunger, and have covered the naked with a garment, that have taken off his hand to the poor, that have, so in other words, when he said that they was poor, he lifted his hand up off of them, instead of putting pressure even more. It says that have not received usury nor increase, have executed my judgments, have walked in my statutes, he shall not die for the iniquity of his father. He shall surely live. Because he didn't learn the pattern of walking behind his father. A lot of times our parents will do things, and we'll pick up these habits and these ways of what our parents do, pattern ourselves behind them, whether it's behavior, whether it's look, or how they got money, or their job description, or whatever, and things are wrong. And if you do that, the Most High is going to punish you like he punished them. Okay? Verse 18.
As for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, spoiled his brother by violence, and did that which is not good among his people, lo, even he shall die in his iniquity.
Right.
Yet say ye, why doth not the son bear the iniquity of the father, when the son have done that which is lawful and right? and have kept all my statutes and have done them, he shall surely live. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him.
Right. So all the behavior, if we change, the Lord said it ain't gonna even be mentioned about us because we changed. Remember, our behavior is one towards another, one towards our brother, one towards a sister, and all these things has got everything to do with keeping the Most High's commandments. It says, in his righteousness that he have done, and the righteousness that he done, that he committed, he shall live. So we live by committing the righteous things that's wrote in the scriptures towards one another. Go ahead.
Verse 23, have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
Right. Does he really want to kill us for the stuff that we do? No, he don't enjoy that. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live.
Right. So when we have ways that are not right, we have to turn from those ways and then live, not walk in those ways and stay in those ways. That's not going to profit us right there. The Most High is eventually going to judge us to death. And there are so many people cry unto the Lord on their deathbed, but it's too late. The Bible says that judgment is going to sit and it's going to stand and it's going to bring forth and execute the thing that it was sent forth to do. So you can't wait till you get on the deathbed before you want to change. You have to change now before that thing's happen. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 24, but when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committed iniquity.
Stop. Why would we turn from the righteousness? When the righteous turn away from his righteousness and commit sin. What about we get tired of waiting on the Lord? The Most High is supposed to bless us. You know, the scriptures we've been preached to, the scriptures teach us to be patient. It's going to happen through faith. And you get impatient and then you move. And the move that you make is a sin. Go ahead.
And committed iniquity.
And you commit iniquity. Go ahead.
And do it according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth. Shall he live?
Right. Are you going to get should he get away with that? And a lot of times that's what we be wanting others to see, that we have traveled rough ways and that we have endured for a time and that we have been waiting and this, that, and the third. And the choice and the decision that we made was our choice and decision. So, you know, hey, don't judge me. Nobody can put you to death, but we still have to tell you the judgment of the Lord that you sold out. All right. So you can't give up the faith. Can't lose hope. You can't stop being patient. You have to see this thing through unto the end. And that's what the unity is for. The unity is to keep you in the way. The fellowship is to keep you on the path. The Spirit is to comfort you while you follow along. Because nobody knows when that day of the Lord is for you, meaning when the Most High is going to bring that prayer that you've been looking for to pass. See, the day of the Lord for you ain't just the day of your death or your resurrection, but the day of the Lord for you is the day that the Lord helped you out. Like, oh, the Most High, my prayer can't pass. You know, there's a lot of days that we want the Most High to come through and help us. So during those times, you got to be patient. And until that time comes, we have to be there one for another and not you lose faith and give in. And then now you become worthless, abominable. Okay, go ahead.
All his righteousness that he had done shall not be mentioned.
But the sad part about it is that there are people that do be mentioning their righteousness. They like to continue. Oh, wow, I was righteous. I did this. I'm about that. No, nobody's thinking about that, man. They're thinking about the thing that you just did today, brother. The reason is because when you sin today and it come out, no righteous man just sins in a day. He gives place to sin over a period of time. Sin chips away at his shield. The scriptures teach you about taking the shield, right? And when lust is conceived, man, it just pounds and pounds and pounds at that. It just goes away. It just fights it and it continues. And to the point to where when you give in, when it shatters, when it breaks, it's going to be showed that, okay, you've been fighting for a minute. Ephesians Chapter 6. Ephesians 6 and 13.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day.
Right. See, the evil day is that day that you began to fight. That day when Satan come with the lust of the flesh. Go ahead.
And having done all to stand.
Right. And having done, everything alive within you, you fought a good fight, you still standing. So if that shield is broken, when you back to Ezekiel, not going there, but in Ezekiel chapter 18, when you sin, your sin started way before that day you actually gave place to that sin. And you failed. The sin started before then. It started in the evil day when you lost. Then you hide it, you hid it and cover it up. So Ephesians 6:14.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth.
So the whole fight's supposed to have been you fighting with truth, right? Instead of letting sin convince and persuade you. Now it's warring against the flesh and you can't cast it down like we teach in Corinthians 10. 2 Corinthians 10. You're not casting it down. It's warring against that and it's winning. And your mind have now buddies and friends, spirits. All right? Spirits. Ecclesiastes 37 and hold what you got. Ecclesiastes 37 and 14.
Ecclesiastes chapter 37 and verse 14. For a man's mind is sometimes one to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower.
Spirits. One more time.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 37 and 14.
So listen to how your mind talks to you. And if your mind is girded about with truth, as Satan know it, Satan will allow these demons to come into your mind and war against the truth. And if you're not strong enough to cast those things down, you're going to fall even before you commit that sin. Your mind is so convinced, these spirits could be so convincing, especially if it sees something that you think is profitable to you, something that you want, that you like. The lust of your own flesh, a bargain of a lifetime, something you cannot resist, pretty hot and tempting. Man, you gonna fall, especially if that's your skilo. If you've been giving into it and giving into it and giving into it, man, please. Your mind is going to tell you. Go ahead, verse 14.
For a man's mind.
For a man's mind, go ahead.
Is sometimes want to tell him.
It want to tell him, go ahead.
More than 7 watchmen.
More than 7 watchmen. So if you got 7 watchmen that sitting into a tower and your mind is outdoing the 7 watchmen, your mind got full of spirits. It's got more than 7 spirits trying to straight convince you and tell you to do something. Now I'll go back to where was we before here?
Ephesians 14.
Ephesians 6 and 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth. If you're not strong, that truth is going to start being at war with them spirits that's coming in, trying to go against it. And if you can't cast it down, even being righteous, you're going to fall. How do you think people end up in sin? It happens in the mind first. Happens upstairs first. You lose the mental battle before you physically go out and do the act. It's straight be trying to convince and persuade you to change the truth of the Most High that the Lord and put into your mind. Change that up. Yeah, you know the little inactive skit that we had about 45 minutes ago about the woman, about the guy being dead. Do you know if a man not careful, a man would be like, yeah, he dead. He gone. I'm here now. Hebrews out there swapping women like that. And a woman that's desperate would accept another man. And then come to find out that the Most High is going to judge him for it. All right, so Ephesians 6:14.
And having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Right, and now have the breastplate of righteousness on. So the breastplate represents the uniform. You ever seen a soldier? You see that little his breastplate, the thing that he got on, instead of it being like some type of uniform, this deal here is a deal. This guy, he's righteous. When people see you, they supposed to see that's a good dude. That's a righteous person. Everything about you has got to be nothing but good, good, good. This person made a good decision. This person made a good choice. People heard things about each other. We're friends. We're on social media. We're in each other's lives. We hear the news. We see the television. We're involved in each other's lives. So everything about you represents that breastplate of right. You're good. You're right. It must be like that. It didn't get like that from itself. It got like that because you made a choice to make a good decision. How you deal with your family, how you deal with your children, how you deal with your woman, how you deal with a brother. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 15. Your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
The gospel of peace, meaning all the time ready to be what? A peacemaker. This brother is always a peacemaker. This sister is always a peacemaker. Okay, you can crack the window. Go ahead.
Above all, taking the shield of faith.
Above all, taking the shield of faith. When we go back to Ezekiel 18, this thing right here was supposed to protect you. This got cracked and shattered. Your faith. What do you believe in? Because we're supposed to believe that the Lord is going to deliver everything that he said he's going to deliver. He's going to go over and beyond. He's going to exceed and deliver to us everything that he said he's going to do. That's the faith that we're supposed to have. Go to the 3rd chapter of Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 3. All right. Ephesians chapter 3:16.
Ephesians 3:16, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inward man.
Right. That he may grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with strength, with might to do it by his spirit, the inner man, because the inner man cannot be taken out. You cannot have a mind that gets lured astray, that gets shattered and fractured and cracked by lust, sin, temptation, and the spirit of impatience. Go ahead.
That Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith.
That Christ may dwell in your spirit, in your mind, because you believe. Go ahead.
That ye being rooted and grounded in love.
That you being rooted and grounded because you love the thing that the Most High say he's going to do for you. Go ahead.
May be able to comprehend.
That you may be able to understand. Go ahead.
With all saints. What is the breadth?
You can understand with everybody else how deep it is. Go ahead.
And length, and depth, and height, and to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge.
Which passeth anything that you can think of, or anybody can say anything, or any wiles of the devil that can come to you. Go ahead.
That you might not be filled with all, that you might be filled with all the fullness of God.
Go ahead.
Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think.
That's how we supposed to know. That's what we're supposed to know. Unto the Lord, the Most High, that is able to do, he able to do exceedingly abundantly above all. So how you gonna sin? It take time, but when it come, he exceeded your expectation. You asking for this, that, and the third, and wow, he exceeded abundantly over and above everything that you thought it would be. You only asked for this that will make you happy. You pleaded and begged for that, and you will be good. But when you got it, wow. That's what happens if you don't let the shield of faith crack. If you don't let sin come in. This is what happens. But there are few that find this. It's few that experience this because they all give in too soon. And they don't trust the counsel, the advice, the spirit of the Most High. They don't trust that. You know what they do? They give in and say, I can't help it. But I'm carnal. God knows my heart. And they never experience the gift of the Holy Spirit and his wages, which is blessings. They never experience it. And when somebody try to explain it to them, they're like, man, I hear you, but I don't see it. I don't get out of it what you got out of it. I bet you don't. Because you gave in. You didn't walk with me when I gave everything up. When I threw this away and that away and this to the side and that to the side. When I had to tell my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my auntie, this friend and that companion and this acquaintance, no. When I had to turn my back on this brother and this sister and I had to walk away, you wasn't there. But now it's your time and it's your turn to do it. And I can't do it for you. You got to do it for yourself so that you can understand what I'm trying to tell you that I feel and I experience. Because I'm not the only one. There are others that can testify to say, hey, I've forsaken all. And I didn't make that choice. I didn't choose this. I made a good choice. I made the choice that because of trust and believe in the Most High, I did it. I took a chance. And now, guess what? Where it says, unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. Now they understand it. Now they understand it. I could talk about things that I asked and prayed for the Most High to be able to do. And he did. He showed up and showed out. And he gave me more than I could ask for. So I understand this. Now it's your turn. Okay, so let's go back. Who's it? Ephesians 6, right? Okay. Ephesians 6. Above all, yes.
Ephesians 6 and 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Right. So what are the schemes, the wiles, the capers? You're gonna be able, if your faith is strong in the Christ, you're gonna be able to tell the scheme of Satan, no. Why? Because you're going to believe in the promises of the Christ. You're going to believe in the promises of the Most High, that there's a resurrection from the dead, that we will overcome, that this thing is bigger. Instead of challenging and asking the Most High every little detail on why this and why that, but allow the Most High to bless you in this time as a down payment. See, allow the Lord to bless you in this time as a down payment to show you that what he's talking about is real. And then in that time to come, life eternal. Okay, what is that?
Something I don't understand is because I asked this question before, like I had asked before, like the mind. You said one time, he who thinketh evil, to him it is sin, or foolishness to him it is sin. But then like scriptures like this, like the fiery darts, like of the wiles of the quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. It's like the mind to me is like a straight up battlefield where nothing but spirits is on, and you have to like literally filter out these things and shut down all these things that are not of the Most High God. But then how do it go from this to the foolish thought is sin to that person?
So are you asking, how do we get rid of foolish thoughts? Or
No, like, because you have said that
the thought of foolishness is sin. That's a
sin.
precept.
Yeah.
So that's trying to teach us that we should not have foolish thoughts. Now, the mind, when you give in place, when our mind is thinking foolishly, maybe because of some reason, then we have to understand that the mind is being provoked by some outside influence, something, lust of the flesh, the pride, so something that we see or something that we hear, right? And Satan come through those things. And so when the mind begins to process those things, we have to correct the mind and say, that's not what we're supposed to think, right, James? That's not what we're supposed to think, because that's foolish to think like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you understand that, right?
Yeah, I just don't get the part where it's sin though, because like even Christ.
Because in order for you to understand that you cannot allow it to continue, you have to know that it's wrong.
Yeah, so that's what the thing about this is that it's quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So that's like literally shutting down all those foolish thoughts.
Right.
So when you actually apply this, it's not sin.
When you apply this, it's stopping you from sinning.
Oh, from the carrying out the actual.
It's stopping you from even thinking, because the thought will bring forth the sin.
But ain't the thought already there?
No. Well, right, because you only thinking about it because it is. So before this, you wasn't even thinking about nothing foolish.
So even before the doors can't even hit you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you could be an idle person, and all just stuff just start flying in your mind.
So
and-
listen, there are people whose mind are continually wicked, right?
Mhm.
So let's not deal with that. Let's just deal with a person that's striving and fighting, right?
Yeah.
Something provokes them to think something foolish. Like, I just want to do this. I just want to do that, right? They want to be violent or they want to be sexual, or they might be poor and they want to steal. Something provokes them to want to do something negative, right?
Mhm.
So, but when you grounded in the faith of the Christ, now the faith of the Christ is being glorified with him. So you're going to put that in jeopardy because you want to be violent. So the shield of faith will help you to knock that dart that Satan is coming into you, which is some like temporary fix. Like, oh, if I fight this person, I'm gonna get relief. I'm gonna get my payback, right? Or, if I chatter this person up and I'm sensual, I'm gonna be relieved. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna feel good. I talked to this girl, this, that, and the third, or this woman, I talked to this guy, whatever, right? So, but to know that in Christ, are you gonna give up being glorified with him? So the faith is a shield to help you knock that stuff away when those things come up, because they're only going to come up based upon stuff that your eyes are set upon, or something that your ears you let get into your ears. Sometimes music will stimulate us, or sometimes voices will. That's why the scriptures tell you not to listen to a woman that is a singer. A singer meaning she got a very nice voice. There are some women that have very smooth voices, brother. Their voice is like harmony, and then some women's voice is raspy. So, it's a difference. So, a tip, there are men that have smooth voices. Women used to talk about Barry White. He had a deep voice and stuff like that. There are people that have smooth voices. You understand? Mm-hmm. So the point is, the thought come in through what we see, what we hear, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the faith being challenged, those things will war against our faith, and we use the faith. But you can't just use the word faith. You got to know what's at jeopardy. Mm-hmm. Each and every last one of you have to know what's at jeopardy. Let's get Isaiah 14. Yeah, you can hold Ephesians. We'll keep it all. Okay. Okay, so Isaiah 14 and verse 1. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and 1.
So this is what you need to compare. Do I want to give up? Do I want to, in exchange for, well, if you're a male, some big leg girl, right? Or some women with their shoulders, he got big shoulders, work out. Buns are still, he's looking at his buns, you say, oh, he work out. All right, go ahead. You want to give this up? Read.
Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
Right. So set us in our own land. And when we get our own land, we have an inheritance. Okay? We have an inheritance. Israel, do you know what the land looked like? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 8. And is this it?
7.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 8 and 7.
Deuteronomy 8 and 7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water.
Stop. I want y'all to use your imagination, please. When the Most High take you to a land, you tell me if this is worth anything. You finna be a landowner, right? You're gonna have brooks. Meaning there are waters on your land flowing through your land. This is beautiful. Brooks of water. Go ahead.
Fountains.
Fountains. What about a fountain? Does fountains spring up or down?
Okay.
No, I think, well, they can do either one, but I'm thinking springing up or down. Fountains. All of this in the land. Go ahead.
And depths that spring out of valleys and hills.
Right. You see them rolling hills and coming this, that, and the third. Who gonna give you that? This is the faith. So when sin is coming up into your mind, this is trying to take that away from you. The Most High said, I'm gonna give you this. Each and every last one of you. Take the earth back from everybody that lives on it, kill so many people. The slain of the Lord shall be, man. It's countless, man. It's got to be more than enough space. Listen, you see how billionaires live, billionaires live. You come out and it's 4 or 5 juices and pastries and food. It's like a buffet and maids and butlers. That's how your spread gonna be. You ain't got to work. So you mean to tell me you finna give? This is what sin is warned up against. You don't let nobody take this from you. Outside is this. On the inside, I just described breakfast to you. Outside, the water is flowing through valleys and springs and brooks across your land. Pleasant land. Go ahead.
A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees.
Right. Vines, figs, those are fruit trees, grapes, everything that grow on a vine. Grapes and berries and strawberries and all of that type of stuff. Whatever your mind formulates, the Most High knows. All you got to do is work for it. Put that work in. All the Most High is asking you to do is to do the right thing. That's it. If you do that, you win. You get this. What is the wheat and the barley? We talking about a farm. You got more than enough, man. You're going to have the scriptures say that me shall inherit the earth. You're going to have earth. You're going to have land. A land of olive and honey. Go ahead.
A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarcity.
Ain't no famine. It ain't no EBT card. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not lack anything in it.
Everything you want is going to be in the land. You ain't gonna have to bring seeds, heathens and their seeds. You ain't have to bring none of that garbage. Everything is gonna be there already. So temptation is warring against this. You don't let nothing war against this. You get rid of those thoughts real fast. So I don't want to lose this. The Most High promised me this. Nope, I don't want to lose this. Go ahead.
A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
So in other words, you're going to be able to build with stone and not these 2-pick houses with the 2x4s. They're gonna be building with stone your stuff. Yes. Mansions. Big ones. Keep building. Higher. Higher. Yeah. Another story. Now go that way. Straight up. Man, Christ said we're going to live in mansions. This is over. Mansions. He said, in my Father's kingdom, there are what? Many, many mansions. Mansions. Many mansions. So when sin is trying to get into your mind, you don't let it war against that. Can't nothing fade that. You don't let nothing persuade you. You don't let nothing stay upstairs. So let me get rid of that because you putting that in jeopardy. So we're going to skip around. Verse 13, it says, when herds and flocks multiply, so you're going to have cattle, like gold and silver, it's multiplied, you're going to have money. You're going to have it all. It's your currency. Now go back to Isaiah 14. And one, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Verse 2.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
That's right. So they're going to be servants. So amongst all of that stuff, who's going to be making your food for you? Those servants is. And they're going to be making food I ain't going to even eat. Make all that. Every day I come out, I want to see a huge spread. I don't know what I want to eat. Just make it all. Straight up. And what I don't eat, feed it to the beast. You mean, can I take it home? Nope. Feed it to the beast. Feed it to my beast. So they're going to go ahead.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
So they'll be captives. They're not going to be friends, partners. No, they in captivity. How was it when we was in captivity? Couldn't say nothing, couldn't do nothing, couldn't eat nothing. Remember how they did? They would, so that we wouldn't eat, they would put stuff in our mouths and strap it around our face and put a lock on it. Yeah. They did that to you when you were in servitude, in captivity. So you wouldn't eat the food.
Oh, you want to stop talking?
Well, in this case, no eat. All right. So it's more, but I'm done with that. It ain't about that. So let's lose Ephesians 6. We gotta keep continue. So back to Ezekiel 18.
Ezekiel Chapter 18 and verse 24. But when the righteous turned away from his righteousness and committed iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he have done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he had trespassed, and in his sin that he has sinned, in them shall he die. Yet ye say, the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel, is not my way equal, or not your ways unequal?
Right. Why were they saying the way of the Lord was not equal? Because they expected to still get their reward while being wicked. It doesn't happen. Okay, go ahead.
When a righteous man turned away from his righteousness and committed iniquity and died